Dolly RDH asks, difference in creatine monohydrate or HCl, one better than the other? Well, one is certainly better at making your wallet feel lighter, and that is creatine HCl. It tends to be a lot more expensive than creatine monohydrate. And though I don't know that we have evidence to say that it performs worse than creatine monohydrate, we also don't have evidence to say that it performs better than creatine monohydrate. And creatine monohydrate has under its belt decades of research with regards to physical performance, body composition, safety, importantly. And so some do believe, and I'm not as well versed in the literature on this, but I know that some believe that creatine HCl is a bit more tolerated. It's believed to be less likely to bloat you. But creatine monohydrate does not bloat you. That's a misconception, I think, about creatine monohydrate that many harbor. And I did my high school senior thesis on creatine more than 20 years ago, almost 30 years ago. 25 years ago at this point. And so I've been thinking about supplementing with, talking about, reading about creatine for a very long time. And creatine draws water into your muscles. So it's not drawing it under the skin. It's not putting it around your face. It's literally in your muscles. So it's helping to give your body shape, and it boosts performance. And unless you're in a loading phase of creatine, which some do when they're initiating a creatine supplementation with creatine, they tend to take very high doses, like 25 grams a day of creatine. That's the typical loading phase that's often discussed in the context of creatine. A daily dose of 3 to 5 grams of creatine a day is not going to bloat you. So I really wouldn't worry about it. There's so much evidence, and creatine monohydrate is so cheap at this point. I mean, there are so many reputable supplement manufacturers that have great creatine offerings. I mean, we work with Puri. They make a wonderful creatine that has taurine in it. Taurine is an amino acid. There's lots of research on taurine and its impact on metabolic health. It seems to be really healthful, and it's not an amino acid that we ingest all that frequently today. So they actually have a product where they combine both. Kion makes a wonderful creatine. Momentous makes a wonderful creatine. It's easy to find high quality creatine monohydrate, and it's very inexpensive. So I would not spend my money at this juncture until the research bears out some magical benefit of creatine HCl that you're not getting from creatine monohydrate. I would not spend my money on creatine HCl, despite whatever marketing you see on Instagram. I wouldn't go there. If you've got money to burn and you want to try it, why not? It's all good. I take creatine for what it's worth. I take creatine every day. I take 5 grams a day, and I usually will bump that up a little bit when I'm feeling stressed or underslept. The dose in some of these studies, like the sleep deprivation studies where they see an improvement in cognitive function with creatine, is they usually will give very high doses. We don't yet have sufficient research to say whether or not lower doses will have the same impact with regards to brain health and cognitive function. But those are the doses that are being studied at this point, the very high doses. Research will usually pick a high dose to start with and then try to figure out what the minimal effective dose is after that, after an effect is found. So we don't yet know if lower doses does the same thing. But, I generally will take 5 grams on most days, and I'll bump that up to 10, 15, maybe even 20 grams if I'm jet lagged, if I'm underslept, for the cognitive benefits. But muscle saturation occurs at a much lower dose. So 5 grams a day, 3 to 5 grams a day is generally the level that you want to hit to fully saturate your muscles so that you get that performance boost. And even that dose is likely the optimal dose to saturate your muscles is going to vary person to person. Women who have less muscle mass might be able to get away with lower doses, which is where the 3 gram a day recommendation comes from. Men with much more muscle mass might do better actually with higher levels. So, bodybuilders might be regularly taking, 5 grams a day, maybe even more, because they've got so much muscle, and you want to saturate. Creatine works when your muscles are saturated with it, because it boosts basically ATP synthesis, essentially in your muscles. People who eat lots and lots of red meat might see less of a benefit from high dose creatine because they're already getting so much creatine from the red meat in their diets, because red meat is a natural source of creatine. So, there really is no truly one-size-fits-all recommendation, but the general safe and effective range for creatine is 3 to 5 grams a day. So, and you want to take it every day. Timing doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you take it at night. Doesn't matter if you take it in the morning. Doesn't matter if you take it pre-workout. Doesn't really matter if you take it post-workout. There is some thinking that the post-workout window enhances creatine absorption into your muscles, because after a workout, your muscles are basically like a sponge for nutrients. But it really doesn't, we're splitting hairs. You just want to make sure that you're taking it consistently. That is the name of the game when it comes to creatine. Hey, if you liked that video, you need to check out this one here, and I'll see you there.